Hey, it's Don, the auction professor here. I just got back from an estate sale. I got a haul here, so I thought I would show you some of the items I have. I've got a big stack of books and magazines and things here that I spent 25 bucks on. This was the last day of the sale, and I really scored out for that 25 bucks. I bought a few other things, but this, what we're going to show you today, I have 25 bucks into. Let's hop over now and look at some of the items. So here we are with the stack. We'll save the books to last because there's something special in those I want to show you. These were all from a bookshelf. Everything you see here was from the bookshelves in this estate sale. Most people did not mess with the bookshelves. I never get it. I always find good stuff sitting in bookshelves. I'll show you the best for last. These are some like role-playing TSR game books. It's vintage, spring 80. I usually get 10 or 15 bucks on those. Let's see what's the year on this. Again, I just got home, so I didn't even look through most of these. 84, real good one here. Probably the first one of these. This is the Epcot Center guidebook for Epcot Center. This doesn't even exist. This is, I think, Rock and Roller Coaster or something like that. Spaceship Earth is in here as well. A real nice one here. 15, 20 bucks minimum. When I was happy to see it, has his name on it. It's dated 1944. I'm a Doughboy. These are like 20, 25 bucks, maybe somewhere in that range. This is actually a brochure for a Volvo. Somebody's written on it, unfortunately, but it's a big fold-out one. For something like this, I should still get 15 bucks or so. I might try and erase the writing because it's in pencil. I can't fix that, but still a good price. Again, it's all mixed up into this price of 25 bucks. Now, this is a 1936 True Detective. It's got some issues, but I should still get 10 or 15 bucks for it. Black Magic, The Strangest Stories Ever Told. 1961, it's a 10-cent cover. It's fantasy, science fiction, so to speak. I don't know on this one here. I'll have to look it up. I don't know all of them, but 10, 15 bucks minimum, I would imagine. Now, this one's Vampire Tales. It's printed by Curtis, which does Marvel. It's a magazine-style comic book, basically, with other stuff in it. It has, like, horror imagery as well. These were very popular back in the day. 75 cents. I figure 10, 15 bucks on this one at the most. I'll have to look it up. Maybe it's a first issue. Let's see. Volume 1, number 5. I'll have to look that one up. Now, these were in there, too. Fantasy magazines, fantasy modeling. I got a bunch of them. I'll probably throw them together. I'd imagine I'd get 6, 8 bucks a piece for them. There was actually quite a few. This was interesting. A lot of people pass up People Weekly. It's got Bob Dylan on the cover. I should get 30 or 40 bucks for this one. Easy, just because of Bob Dylan on it. I got some other people, too. Now, this wasn't really in the bookcase, but I got it thrown in as well. This is from, it's a passenger list from the Liberté, which is a steamship liner. Traveled, it's from 1951. It's got the names of all the passengers and the crew on the ship, including the captain, where they went and where they were going from. 20, 25 bucks minimum, somewhere in that range. This is World's Fair. This was in the bookcase. Century of Progress. I instantly knew what this was. I've had it before. It's from the Burlington and Quincy Railroad. It's a souvenir. 1933. It's a good one. First edition. 14, 15 bucks. I did, as I said, find a few comic books. I know this one here. I've had probably a half a dozen or better of this one. I'll get 30 bucks out of this all day. It's in real nice condition. Shows you how to draw the turtles. It's from like 84, 85, somewhere in that range. 86, it was off by a year. Volume 1, number 1. Good one there. Let me move this around a little bit here. Now, these are comic readers. They're not worth much at all. I've got other ones. There's 2 of the same ones. It has Catwoman and Batgirl on the cover, so I thought that might be good either way. I'll look up those. I should get like 5 bucks a piece, maybe. Let's see here. This is behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings. In fact, it looks like it has a poster. It's got that sticky. I wonder if that'll come off. I bet you this is a poster that goes with it. Yeah, I would say that's a poster of... Oh, yeah, that's pretty wild. Poster in there. I have no idea what this is worth, but I can't imagine me getting less than, say, 10 bucks for this. It was $8.05 back then, $8.95. It's from 2001. I figure I'll be able to sell that. This one had $1 on it. I don't know if that's where they got it, but I didn't pay that for it. Space 1999. It's issue 2. I have issue 1 and maybe 3, I think, here somewhere already. Again, I do buy all this kind of stuff. I run into comics all the time. Now, I only grabbed this one here because it's got signatures. And they're definitely real signatures. I'll have to, again, look that one up. And this one has a whole bunch of signatures. 1, 2, 3, 4 different. I would imagine they're the artists and illustrators and inkers and stuff like that. Yeah, it's got all their names. Pencil. Yeah, it's got all. I guess it's got all 4 of the people who did this. I'll have to look this one up. It's Vampire Dogs and Iron Men. No idea on that. Now, these I always snag. This was literally from some kid's collection. I'll probably get at least $30, I would imagine, for these comic books here. It's a whole bunch from the same run, and it's got a special issue on here, too, with like a foil cover. So those ought to be good. Now, this one here, I don't know how many times I've had one of these Planet of the Apes. There's, I think, 3 of them, maybe 4 even. I've had several of them. I've had this one a couple of times before. It's a book and comic book record set. Now, I remember these when I was a kid. So I buy them either way. You know, again, $25 and everything. I can't go wrong. This is something I'll put up for like $14.50, maybe $18.50. I'm not sure where the price is right this second on this one, but usually $14.50 is about average I get on any of these book and records. That would go for this Space 1999. Again, another comic book. I watched this show, so I had an Eagle One with the action figures and the whole works. It was one of the coolest toys when I was a kid. It was one of my earliest ones. It predates Star Wars toys as well. Now here's some earlier, I think there's a couple in here. Miami Mice Comics. I'll have to look up this one here. Eastman Enlarged Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's number 11. I think it's the second issue or second pressing. I'll have to look those up. Some of those can still go for $5, $8, $10. Again, I just grabbed it. I got a big lump sum, so I'm not worried at all. Robin, I usually sell the Robin, and this is the entire run, it looks like. I believe there's only 5 of these. Plus, there are some other, like, single runs and 3 comic book sets. I will, again, have to look these up, but they're in excellent, excellent condition. I couldn't find anything wrong with them. I'm assuming I'll at least get $15 or $20 for the set of those. That's probably about average. Here's an early TSR, Dungeons & Dragons relation, Dragon's Lance. I don't know this one, 1987. I would imagine I'd still do fairly well. It's like a graphic novel or comic book of some sort. Now this one I've sold every one I've ever gotten. I should get $15 for this one. It's sheet music in here. It's got all the popular ones. There's even pictures in the inside when they go from one cartoon to another and stuff like that. So again, $14, $15. This one, I think the wife is planning on keeping unless she has one. It's a real nice book of Bowie with a lot of interview information and things like that in here. If she doesn't have it, I'll put it up. It's probably about $20, $25 last time I looked. I run into this one occasionally because I do mess with a lot of musical-related stuff, including records, obviously. So this stuff shows up quite often, and I snag it whenever I can. So, again, $20, $25, I'd imagine. Let's see, which way does this one go? It's Tommy, the movie. It's the soundtrack sheet music. I think the last one I got $20 or $25 for as well. I'll have to look this one up to see where the price stands right now, but at least $25. It's from '75. It's the original first one of this edition of the movie one. These are almost always good purchases. And some coloring books. It has a couple colored in here. I'm probably going to put this separate on its own. And then there was Captain Kangaroo. Now, they had some 25-cent stickers. I don't know if they bought them somewhere else or they originally had them on a table and no one bought them. I don't know. Coloring books aren't super, super high dollar these days. Well, it's got pages in between. Trace and color. I guess you trace them on the paper. I haven't seen one of these before, huh? Some of them are colored. Either way, it's 1960. I remember watching this when I was a young child. $14, $15. Marty Mouse. It's got some coloring in it. As a early Hanna-Barbera, I do believe, character, or at least comic book related. I don't know if this is Hanna-Barbera. I better look. 1975. I could look it up by the name. Some of them, as I said, were color, but $8, $10 maybe. Now, Archie, I've had bunches of the Archie. This is a deluxe one. Ooh, no coloring in it. Again, I just grabbed these. They were so cheap, I didn't really care. She said she'd make a deal when I brought a bunch up. That's what I did. And I brought up some other stuff. I got the usual stuff. I got some postcards. I got some photo slides, movie film, all that kind of stuff at this kind of sale. It was a big old house. You know, the house was probably built in 1910 or somewhere in that range. I couldn't film. Totally shut me out on the filming aspect of it. I asked nicely, and no, they didn't want anybody filming. There was patrons there and their customers and stuff. So anyway, $15-20 minimum on this one. I'll have to look it up. There was some other Ninja Turtles. No, this is like a third edition or third pressing. The originals were black and white, if you didn't know it. The first edition, first comic book they ever made, is worth like $3,000 or $4,000 in excellent condition, because I think half of the 3,000 they printed or more were all damaged. Now this one I grabbed real quick. I haven't seen this one before either. Adventures in Space, and I'm guessing it's 50s or early 60s. Really nice one here too. Maybe there's not a date on this one. Sometimes you run into them and there's no date. I hate that. It probably had like a paint tin with it or something. Probably came in like a cello pack. I would imagine I'll still get, I don't know, $20 for it maybe. It's got to be 50s or like 58 through 65, 66, somewhere in that range would be my guess. Again, that should be a good one here. This one was The Riot. In time of emergency, nuclear attack, natural disasters, Department of Defense, 1968, so Vietnam War era. $15-20 minimum. Now these I always grab too, and I see people just walk by tables of these. It's home ideas, and it has like designs of homes, different staircases and plans and models you can get. I mean, it's mod century. It's definitely fab. Stuff like this I usually get $20 or $30 for, easy. I mean, this lot right here, for the $25 I have invested in it, I'm probably going to get like maybe $500 back. No exaggeration. This is the stuff that most people don't think anything of. Now this is a special collector's edition, the best of Starlog. I've got other Starlog. I don't get usually more than a couple of bucks for most of these. I do remember Buckaroo Banzai. I think it was Adventures into the Forbidden Zone, and I think it was in 3D when it first came out. But this should do well, at least in a group. If not, I should get $2 or $3 for it. But I'm going to put it in a lot. Again, I got nothing into it. This was there too, which was rather interesting. This is an advertisement from 1987, advertising the Garbage Pail movie and the card series from the movie. I have no idea what these are worth. I'd say at least $5 or $10 minimum, maybe way more than that. This was neat. I remember that darn cat and the cat from outer space. The computer wore tennis shoes. There was a whole line of these Disney movies, and this is like a storybook, I would say. I liked the Disney movies when I was a young kid, but most people probably did too. But loved the cat. The Siamese cat was just awesome. But I'm guessing at least $20 or $30. I've never seen this one before, honestly. Dean Jones was in so many, as was Haley Mills, as we all know. Roddy McDowall was in a ton of movies. He was in Planet of the Apes for one, if you didn't know. So, nice assortment here. Again, that should $20, $30. And then I've got some more of these. Another People. Yeah, I grabbed any of the People that I saw there. There were some other ones that were just pretty much nobody on it. It's got Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, and Cher is on the cover. 1975 original. $20 at least, I would gather. More of these. Again, I'm just probably going to throw these in a lot. I should get a couple bucks, $3 or $4 a piece minimum. And then here's Sing of the USA. It's a Chevrolet advertising promo for kids, which I thought was really neat. Now, I haven't seen this one before at all. 1964, and it has the Corvette, the Corvair, the Chevelle, Chevy 2. I mean, it's got all the good ones on it here. I'm guessing maybe $30 on this one. And the best for last, in fact, let me show you the last best part. I talk about the oddball stuff. Alfred Hitchcock. If you're in my Patreon group, you know this book, or you should know anything like this. Alfred Hitchcock always sells. I love the cover art on here. He's managed to get himself into the book cover itself. There's spooky tales for kids. I'm not going to give away the other secret to this. There's another line that goes with Alfred Hitchcock. There's many series of mystery books that he was involved with. So look it up if you want to know any more. But this here is probably about $30. At least 15, well, yeah, probably $30. It looks white. Look at the color of the pages. Usually these are yellowed. It's probably from like 60s, late 50s, early 60s. Again, I love the artwork. That's just awesome in my book. That's awesome too. 62, first edition, I'm sure. Real nice one, 30 bucks in that one. And the best one for last, Anne Rice. This book doesn't go for much, so discount that. But what's interesting is she signed it. And I know somebody's going to say, how do you know that's her signature? My wife has an Interview with the Vampire signed by her that we got signed at White's Books in downtown Disney Marketplace, downtown Disney Village area, in person. So we met her and we had her sign several different books. My wife still has a copy, her original copy of The Interview with the Vampire. It's identical to the T, and somebody's written down the date, and I'm sure that would be the date that she signed it. You can just go online, I'm sure, and find out if she was someplace signing books that day to verify it. You know, I know where these folks were from, so I have a good idea of what to look up, but I am 99.999% positive that this is the real deal on here. It's not worth a fortune. Probably 50 bucks at most I would get for her autograph, but it's always neat. I found a couple of hers over the time. I found a Stephen King's before at a Salvation Army. I found an Anne Rice sign from Savers. So they do show up at places like that because, again, people don't always look inside of the bookcase. Now, I usually look at most of the Anne Rice, and they had a Interview with the Vampires. The only reason I looked wasn't a first edition or anything worth getting, but I just figured I'd keep looking. This is one that I do run into. I do run into hers more than other ones. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Well, there you are. There's some items that I do find. Hopefully that gave you some ideas and some thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.